The older women who complain about their man chasing a younger woman was once that younger woman chasing a older man. They wanted someone to take care of them, you know, someone they can benefit of, from. Ain't that about a, like, ladies, if you're older, think about what your young self was doing to get that and how to keep that man. As you get older, you feel entitled. You feel like, oh, I've been with him for years. I deserve this. I put up with this. I did. Ain't that's what the supposed to be doing? Because that man is staying, putting up with all your and you deny him of the love you gave once when you first got him. Oh, I'm tired. I've been working. I've been doing this. He been working. He been tired. He don't get. He feel like you my wife, or my woman. You supposed to be getting this time and attention, But y'all don't want to hear it though.
Another thing I've noticed by being here in America with dating is that you guys just don't like each other. Like, men say they would rather date internationally, and women say they just not impressed with the guys here. I've spoken with both, and you just guys don't like each other. And I think that's a massive problem. If you don't like the people in your own culture and in your own country, well, like, I don't understand why you guys are so nice here. Like, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. But again, like, the standards are blurred. But yeah, you guys just don't like each other. Maybe you should work on that and start liking your own nation and like your own people, kind of make it work.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a story time about how you always need to trust your gut. So this was about a year and a half ago. Me and my current boyfriend at the time, we were broken up, but we were still living together, and like, we'd go to school together. Like, we would literally still be acting as if we're dating, but in the public eye, we were broken up. Like, I would still be sleeping in his room, like, Anyways, this is about like maybe 3 weeks of us being broken up, and we come home from school and we're laying in his bed, and like, he's on TikTok, I'm on TikTok. And I had sent him like some videos on iMessages, and I was like, hey, can you like go to my messages and can we watch those together? So he goes to his messages, and I'm like laying right next to him. Oh my God, I'm like getting PTSD from this. He goes to his messages, and like, I see my chat, like I wasn't pinned, like we weren't together, whatever. I see my chat, and then I see like 3 days ago, a freaking chat from this girl I used to be friends with. I was like so close with her. And like, the last message was like, what are you doing tonight? And that was our homecoming night. And we didn't go to homecoming together because we were broken up, and she was texting him that. So what do? I go, what the fuck? I literally flip my shit on him, and I grab his phone from his hand, and he locks it. He locks his phone. It's literally locked out. I swipe up on it, and somehow it unlocks, and I see like some of their messages, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like flipping my shit on him. And mind you, we were broken up, so I couldn't really talk. I'm not going to say that I was doing the same thing because I wasn't, but. And from that point on, as soon as I saw that text message, as soon as I saw that they were messaging, I knew something happened. I'm literally like, my heart rate has to be like in the 130s right now. So I literally boot from his bed, and anything that I could reach was getting flung at him. Like, I went crazy on him. Like, not my proudest moment, I will say, but it was worth it. So I literally turn around to him and I go, Tyler, I'm done. Like, no, like, and we were still broken up. So like, we weren't together, but like, I guess we were working on things. So it was bound to happen, like, for us to get back together. and I go, I'm like, tell her I'm fucking done. Like, I'm fucking done. I go to my room, because mind you, we live in the same house, but we have different rooms. Yeah, it's a whole story. I go to my room, I lock my door. He comes, he unlocks it, and he's like, I'm literally standing in the mirror. I'm sobbing. I'm like freaking out at this point. Like, I already know, like, something happened. Like, I just know, like, when you know, you know. And he's like trying to hug me. He's like, Ina, please come here. Ina, come here. Ina, please come here. Ina, no, come here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And at this point, like, I stopped crying and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Literally, he's like on my bed and I'm like, Tyler, what the fuck did you do? And he goes, oh, when I was at blah blah blah's party, like, we made out. You made out. I used to be like not best friends, but we were close. I was close with that girl. And yeah, she knew we were still living together and everything. And yeah, he did that. And I was like, did anything else happen? And obviously he was like, no, like, all we did was make out, whatever. And yeah. So after he like confessed, I tell him, like, I'm done. Like, I don't want anything to do with him. Like nothing's ever gonna happen. That's when I was wrong. I was supposed to go to my like trade school that I had after my regular high school classes, and I ended up not going. I called myself out and I went to a friend's house, and I just like, I went through it there. And he kept on texting me, he kept on spam calling me, all this shit, whatever. Make long story short, he texts me, when you get home, we need to talk. Or like, when I get home, we need to talk. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't end up responding. And then he texts me, he's like, please come home. Like, I want to try again with you, blah, blah, blah. We end up getting back together, whatever. Fast forward 7 months later. This is where it gets crazy, okay? Sit down. We're together, we're actually like, ever since getting back together, that day that I found out what happened with my ex-friend, like that they made out, whatever, we did not have like the best relationship. Like, it was rocky. It was really rocky. 7 months after we had gotten back together, I keep asking him, like, do you promise, like, nothing else happened, like this and this and that, nothing else happened? He's like, yes, baby, like, I promise. And mind you, we were each other's like only bodies. And I was like, did you go sleep with anyone else? He was like, no, like, you're my only one, this and this and that. I believed him. Like, I trusted him. So I was like, okay, like, yeah. I had a dream 7 months later that I had asked him if he had sucked that girl's, when they were making out. I had a dream that I asked him that. So when I woke up, what do? That later on that day, while I'm at my trade school and he is at his trade school, I text him asking him that. He gets all defensive and mad, whatever, because I brought it up. And he ends up sarcastically responding, I told you I kissed her, so obviously, like, yeah, because it was her body, whatever, something like that. And I was like, what the, like, wow, that's up. And we're going through it. So, like, whatever. Then he texts me. He goes, I have to tell you something. I like already knew. I was like, he probably fucked her. He goes, I had sex with someone else while we were broken up. You just lied to me for 7 months. And I had this dream that I asked you this question and it provoked you to tell me the actual truth? Are you kidding me? And it wasn't even the girl he made out with. It was another bitch. So yeah, always trust your gut, ladies, because there's always more to the story.
I guess I see where you're coming from, but you guys are broken up. And I think I saw a comment here that says, and you're still with him. Well, of course, when a lot of these modern women see that, hey, the man is actually of value, looks like somebody else wants him, then they want him even more. So that could explain that there. Also, it sounds like maybe you didn't put your hands on him, but you got violent. Most women in that situation, if it were them, with the stuff being thrown at them, would say that's DV, that's grounds for him to be put in jail, restraining order, yada, 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 the whole nine. But apparently, because you're a woman, it doesn't matter. All I want to say at the final result is, guys, be careful out there. A lot of this stuff can happen to you.
I don't know. I kind of think I like that men want a more traditional woman, a woman like our grandmothers, because my grandma, my grandpa. And then to avoid the embarrassment, my grandpa told everybody that he should self-cleaning his, which that's not what happened. So yeah, I'll be a traditional woman. I'll be just like my grandma.
So attempting to eliminate somebody. Got it. That's 2 stories now where a woman is being violent.
I'm tired of hiding it. On occasion, I do let my moral compass slip. You should swing on it.
Here again, we have another example of a woman being violent and displaying violent tendencies. Men should be afraid.
Fancy dinners, expensive vacations, like the big gifts, all of that, really. I just want somebody who wants to take a walk with me, somebody who wants to run errands with me, somebody who wants to end their night cuddling and watching TV with me, somebody who gets excited to spend time with me, to be around me. All the other, I don't want anything fancy.
Are men and women equal? Actually, women are better than men. What do men bring to the world? Literally nothing. Women, the vibes, just everything.
Everything you know and love. If you look around the entire infrastructure of our nation, our economy, every building you walk into, the way that you are portraying your ideas and opinions is through technology and infrastructure and an economy and a nation that was not only built, but is still maintained to this day by men.
Did men allow you to have that haircut?
You taking personal attacks makes me seem like the more intelligent.
Okay, I understand.
Validate your point, not some personal attack.
Okay, I understand.
The argument. Feminism stops whenever it's inconvenient for y'all. By definition, you are delusional if you cannot defend your ideas.
You should go.
I actually don't go to bed.
I'm not saying that it's off the table. I just want to know, what benefit would I get for being a stepfather? Would a man be wrong for asking a woman that?
I think it's a loaded question, because why are you asking me that? I feel like as a man, you should know what if you're coming into a relationship where there's children involved, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask in terms of what's the benefit that I get for being a stepfather to your children. Like, that doesn't even sound right to me.
No?
Because I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you know that I have children, you should already start programming your mind to think, okay, I'm gonna be around her children.
Okay.
My question is, why should I want you around? What benefits do we get from having you around? So that's what I would need to know. Like, what are my children going to see in you? What are my children going to learn from you? Okay. Those are the questions. So if you're saying, what benefit do you have from being a stepfather to my children, I'm going to ask you, why are you even asking that question?
Okay.
So how do you feel about situations like this whole Anthony Edwards situation, where he just went on and paid the child support? He don't want to have nothing to do with the baby, even though he made the baby and did what it took. He don't want to have nothing to do with it. He just
I think he's a hero to black man. Not only that, I think it's okay to walk away from the baby. Man, baby, you done had a baby with this. Man, y'all just, man, already got a baby by another nigga. Y'all just having fun, and she want to ruin the fun by keeping the baby. Man, baby. Man, come on now. You done sung before. You done sung before, and then when you get mad at me, guess what? It's your baby, remember? Right. When the black woman get mad at you, don't she say, this is my baby? You can't tell me what to do with this baby. And don't, when you have a baby by the black woman, she take 100% control of your legacy. So why would you stay there for the baby? She got 100% control of it. If she don't want to get his baby my last name, he won't have my last name. She get to shape his mind of how he see me. Baby. Granddad and them did, and they fared out well. So this group of men saying, man, you can't walk off on the baby. Why not? We were just, she knew that. Well, you should have used rubber. She should have made me.
Men are tired. Men are tired. They're tired of their masculinity being labeled toxic. They're tired of being told, oh, we want a traditional man, but you don't get to want a traditional woman. They're tired of being told you got to want a boss babe and you got to want to delegate your home, the care of the children to, a nanny or to daycare because I still want to be a boss babe, but I really want a traditional man. They're tired of that nonsense. They're also tired of women treating them like crap because women have a ton of options on social media and have decided that they can be extraordinarily picky and discard and end up in some cases verbally men. Ooh, he's ugly. Ooh. They do this stuff all the time. And then if a guy turns around and says, oh, honey, you're not my type. You're so superficial. Oh my God, he's so superficial. And then you go, he hurt my feelings. Is he saying I'm fat? Grow up. If you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
The whole rhetoric around women saying that all women are beautiful is so funny to me because a woman will have that mindset. A woman will be preaching that to the choir, always just, oh no, all women are beautiful, until that woman does something wrong. Until that woman scorns you. That don't mean she does something wrong, like morally, but she does something that you don't like.
It's absolutely true, and I've told this story here before, but I'm going to tell another 2 stories. The reason why it's so frustrating for a lot of guys when we hear girls like just blatantly lying to their friends that they know deep down are like not that attractive, but they just claim that they are, is because of the fact that we know it's disingenuous and it's completely based off the fact of how you personally feel about that person. And a perfect story is I had this female friend my freshman year of college who had another friend, let's just call her Nicole. She was trying to set up Nicole with one of my friends, and my friend ended up not being interested. But like when we asked about her, she was like, oh my God, she's the most gorgeous girl, this. And then when my friend rejected her, he was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. She's the most prettiest girl in the world, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, I think it was like 3-4 months later, there was a girl that the initial friend wanted to get with. That guy ends up choosing Nicole over her. She comes ranting to me privately about, I can't believe he picked Nicole. She's a little bit overweight. She doesn't even know how to work out. Her hair, it's so greasy. This just goes on this whole entire rant about how unattractive the girl is and how she's prettier than her. And then I remember I pointed that out to her. I said, hey, like, didn't you call her the most beautiful girl when like you were trying to set her up with David? He's like, well, yeah, I'm her friend. I can't say mean things, but that's so messed up. Like she knew I liked him, this. And I said, wait, but that doesn't make any sense. If she's the most beautiful girl in the world, like what does it matter that like you're her friend now or what she did? Like she should be the most beautiful girl right now. The reality is because at the time she was her friend, she didn't want to admit the truth. And the reality is yeah, that girl wasn't that attractive. And it took her just basically not getting the guy that she wanted for her to finally admit like, yeah, I don't get it. I had this other time where there was a girl that I was hanging out with who had a friend, and she was always asking if I knew somebody who could set her up with. And I personally asked her, I said, yo, just be honest, like, what does she look like? Would you date her if you were a guy? And I could tell from the girl's reaction, because when I asked her, like, hey, would you date her if you were a guy? She was like, yeah, no, she's really sweet. I was like, okay, this girl's definitely not attractive or something. Something's wrong. So then I asked for her Instagram because I was going to send it to a few of my friends, and wouldn't you have guessed it, the girl was a little overweight. And listen, I get it. It's not everyone's place that you want to go tell your friend, like, hey, you're overweight. But then she would tell me progressively throughout the next few weeks, the girl would go on dates. And a lot of the dates were going terrible. And one of the dates specifically ended very badly. And the guy had mentioned something about how she was a lot more overweight than I guess what she was in her profile. And the girl was like hysterically crying and basically like feels like, oh, I'm never going to meet the one. And it's because, like I said, her friend's not being honest with her. Because the reality is I could tell from the girl's reaction when I first asked, would you date her as a guy, that that she's not that physically attractive. And she keeps going on these dates and then having these poor experiences because you're not telling her the key flaw that she needs to work on, which in reality, I'm sure if she lost, 25, 30 pounds, she'd probably meet higher quality guys and they'd probably treat her better, as messed up as that sounds. Because that is why when this topic comes up of girls talking about how they're more attractive than men or just in general, it's not that like we have a problem with it. It's that we just like think and know like you guys are just so disingenuous to the people that you like. Like I could have a male friend who's like my best friend, funniest guy in the world, and openly tell him, hey, like you're not very physically attractive. You need to get better shape. A girl cannot do that. I feel like they think their worth is dependent on if they're physically attractive, and basically telling their friend like, hey, you're not, like, you could do better. That's too much for them, because it shouldn't take, like in the first story, your friend going for a guy that you want for you to finally admit like, okay, fine, you got me. She's not as pretty as I was saying. Moral of the story here is you guys don't have to be mean to your friends, but let's not be disingenuous. But that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
When will men realize that being emotionally unavailable is such a turnoff? We want a man who's truly emotionally intelligent, in touch with his feelings, in touch with his emotional side. Like, that is such a turn on. Some broken ass man, like, ew, ick. We don't want that anymore. It's tacky, it's out of style. We want a man who goes to therapy, who is healed, who is healing, who wants to be better, who isn't avoidant and doesn't run away from his feelings. Like, we don't want a child. We want a real man. And real men do not run away from their problems and avoid deep emotional connections and conversations. Like, nah, that ain't it.
This is for men. If you are about to date a woman, ask yourself a quick question before you get into a long-term relationship with her. Are you
Men, I know this might be a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes when you are being rejected, it's not that the woman is rejecting you. It is the amount of work that the woman will have to do to be in your life that she is rejecting. That means that she's going to have to put in a lot of time and effort to prove to be a part of your life, meaning you're going to have standards, you have boundaries, and you have expectations. And there are some women that are lazy and they don't want to do that. They know that you'll hold them accountable and responsible for their actions. So a lot of times women are very attracted to you. They really like you, but they will reject you on the basis of knowing that they'll have to put too much work to be in your life. So when they reject you, just accept it and know that they really did you a favor and move on. Find another girl that is more willing to put in the work. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Y'all, you know what really sucks about not having a man in my life? It's that after I've had a really stressful day, there is nothing that I need more than to come home, have no one freaking talk to me, go to the bed, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you can't tell, it's been a really stressful day. And I could really use that right now. That's all. Okay, goodbye. Let me tell you the difference between having brothers and having sisters. Brothers are the kings of hard launches, okay? For example, my younger brother just texted the sibling group chat a picture of a girl painting his nails. And the only caption was, girlfriend. He didn't explain anything else. Meanwhile, my sister and I, hard launch is not in our vocabulary. I don't even think we're capable of soft launch. Sisters share every thought that comes to mind. My sister knows about men in my life before the man knows he's in my life. Moral of the story, girls can't help but yap. It's not even that my brothers are being secretive. Unfortunately, they're just being dudes. Love them all though.
I got a question. Is it for a man to fall asleep in the front seat while his homeboy driving? Okay, I thought it was too. Thank you.
What? What is she talking about? So we can't take naps now. Is that what she's saying? We can't work a double shift, then go play basketball with our homeboy and fall asleep on the way back without being suspect. Is that what she's saying?
I'm so sick of these people.
Yo, killing me with this.
So you said you had to work for it by courting her in the beginning, correct?
Yes.
So what do you mean by working for it? What exactly did you do?
As far as like, what does the guy do?
Yeah.
Well, a man has to learn how to be attractive.
Hon, I hate to break it to you, but you don't need to learn how to be attractive. You just
Really?
are.
Okay.
And that's something you ain't. Okay, I want to bring up, you talking about...
Let me address that first part real fast. So, and then you can go ahead and, because I know you're probably going to an ad hominem attack, but that's fine. So let's address the first thing. You said you don't have to learn how to be attractive, you just are. So I've heard a couple of women say this actually, and it's always very interesting to me, right? I always say privilege is invisible to those that have it. And obviously for you, you don't understand the privilege you have. Men, unlike women, are not born with value. We have to learn how to be confident. We have to learn how to be attractive. We have to learn how to dress properly. We have to learn how to go to the gym. We have to learn how to be competent. We have to be able to have certain things in our background to make us attractive to women, because women look for things that take time to acquire, resources, etc. So for women, when you guys turn 18, the life is your oyster. You can literally go everywhere. You can do whatever you want. But men don't get these opportunities unless we make something of ourselves. So when women say things like, oh, you just are attractive, like, no, it's a learned skill. Men are not just born attractive. They have to figure this stuff out through a lot of turmoil, trial, and error, and sacrifice. So I always find it interesting when women say that, because we don't operate on the same dating timeline as you guys. You guys are born with your value. We must create our value.
It'd be so funny to me, because the moment you start, they become a hairdresser. Oh, they be putting your hair back for you. They're all nice. So like, maybe let me get that out your face. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am? I beg your pardon.
Don't y'all hate a bitch acts like she's too good for some shit? Like you could be like, oh yeah, I want a steak. Like, let's go to Longhorn. Don't be like, oh, I don't eat Longhorn. I only eat Ruth's Chris. Okay.
Like, we don't need a man. A lot of these other races rely on men for a lot of things. We don't have to.
Do y'all think that's why, like, y'all have the lowest marriage rates and y'all get divorced and left? Because y'all are so... But being independent is a masculine trait.
Right. It is for sure. It is for sure. I can also feel like that can just come from how some people were raised. You know, I was raised in a household where my dad loves my mom.
So are you independent?
Sweethearts, I am an independent woman.
I never gave her safety. I never gave her stability, because safety and stability meant that she could relax and pause. And a woman who feels safe might realize that she doesn't need me. So I kept her off balance. I created chaos inside the entire relationship, created fights over nothing. One day sweet, the next day cruel, going back and forth. And so she stayed second guessing herself, stayed working, stayed focused, trying to work harder and fix herself, trying to figure out what version of me she'd get, never understanding, never knowing. And I controlled her by keeping her anxious.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, did he just admit to emotional abuse and then casually just kind of drop it in as a relationship flaw, as if, you know, this is just a moment of growth, as if this isn't literal psychological? Well, if that was your thinking, you would in fact be correct, because he did. This is so far from okay, I don't even know where to begin. So ladies, when I tell you in my videos that they know, okay, this is what I mean by they know. This man is literally telling you that they know. Just like the man from the other day who said that he doesn't date his type because he doesn't have the money to. Yep. They know. They know when they're shortchanging you and being cheap. They know when they're being emotionally abusive. And they know when they're hurting you. They know. Stop making excuses for them. Because men aren't dumb, and they are certainly not without strategy. When I tell you that men are strategic, this is what I mean. When I tell you that men know exactly what they're doing, this is what I mean. Hear me, ladies. Click the link in bio. Don't be a slow learner.
But you don't need a course to tell you that, because men would have told you that already. I'm sure you have plenty of friends that are men that'll say, hey, that man is playing you. But because y'all live in a land of delusion, y'all sit up there and allow a man, trash men, to do whatever they want. Y'all keep on going after the same man over and over again, letting that man ruin your life, and then wondering why. And now you're running the courses like this, making this woman rich, and once you get inside the course, she ain't told you nothing that she didn't already know. But go ahead and buy the course.
Being in a healthy relationship is so weird, because I'm on my period, and last night he was like, I'm gonna start tracking your periods because I want to know when I need to be extra nice to you and help you out with things and get you things. What? You're not gonna tell me to stop being a and cry when I have cramps? What? I don't know, that just felt very heartwarming, and I kind of want to cry about it because I love my boyfriend.
No, men don't generally say things like that to their woman. It's society saying that men are just terrible and they're jerks.
Growing up, I was absolutely convinced that my soulmate was a short man. I was taller than everybody for so long. So many years I fought on the front line. So many years I suffered. So many years I fought for my sisters. No, I didn't. I just fought for myself being tall. Anyways, so many years on the front lines of being the only tall girl. I was like, my soulmate is a miniature man, because all the tall boys I knew, I was like, you're not interesting. You're not funny. Your grades aren't good. So where are you going? You've got no personality. It's true. It's true what they say. The tall boys, very rarely did they have a personality. And if they did have one, it was like too much personality. It was like, okay, like we get it. Let's bring it down a little bit. The short boys, they had just enough for me. And so I was convinced, because my whole life growing up, I loved short boy. Every boy I had a crush on was so short. So I just was like, my soulmate's gonna be short. Like, I don't think he's gonna be tall. And that's changed a little bit. But now that I'm older, I'm like, no, that might be true, because my first kiss was in Japan, but it was with the Portuguese boy, so much shorter than me, like a foot shorter than me. One of my 8th grade boyfriends, maybe 2 feet shorter than me. Yeah, and he was one of my faves. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it could be me, but I haven't met an interesting tall man in a while. I haven't. I don't know. That's just what the data is showing me. That's just what the polls are saying. It's not me, it's science. I don't know.
Now, if we can just get women to look at the character and the integrity and behavior of a man, then they can find them a good, well-rounded man that they're attracted to.
All right, men, take note. I matched with a guy on Hinge yesterday. Today, I commented on one of his photos. He immediately comments back. He says, I like your vibe. Do you want to grab a drink? Yes, I do. Thank you for taking the initiative. Thank you for being assertive. Thank you for it all. If it doesn't vibe with you, it doesn't vibe with you. Then he's not the person. But I just love it when a guy takes initiative. Just ask me out. I don't want to have talk on the app. I want to talk to you in person. We can figure out if we like each other then. That's all.
Well, you did something that very few modern women do, and that's reciprocate.
This is for the ladies only, right? Have y'all ever watched y'all boyfriend get beat up? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have, and it's a very humbling experience, like, when you watch your boyfriend get beat up. Like, yeah, I remember I was dating this dude in high school, right? And I had a friend who lived around my neighborhood, right? So my friend, he kept trying to, like, talk to me, right? But he knew I had a dude, so I would keep reminding him, like, I got a dude with him and the dude had class together. So he would go to their class and, like, kind of try to him, like, pick with him and shit like that. And I know it was really because, like, not to boost my own head, but he was mad that was my boyfriend and I didn't want to fuck him, right? So of course after a while, right, y'all, my boyfriend got tired of this. Like, my boyfriend felt like he's trying to play with him. So my boyfriend, like, at this point, he like, okay, what's up? Like, he trying to fight. So then they want to fight in school. He like meet me around the way to fight, right? So mind you, my boyfriend don't live where we live. My boyfriend literally walked about 20 minutes, right, to where we live to you know, to get it in with the nigga. So naturally, I'm coming outside, right? Because I want to make sure, you know, my boyfriend good. I'm trying to make sure he don't get jumped. He ain't gonna get done like, you know, crazy. Nothing crazy go on, y'all. So I come outside, right, to watch the fight, y'all. Y'all, this nigga beat my bike. Y'all, I don't even know if I can say this on TikTok. He him up, though, y'all. Like, for real, I'm talking. Stomped him out and all of that, right? Like, to the point, like, where people eventually broke it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just bad, not even gonna lie. And I felt so bad after. Like, I just went over to my boyfriend, right, and blood and like on his nose and just he was getting stomped out. He was like clearly, I don't know if the blood came from him getting stomped out on his nose or if it was one good hit. I don't know where the blood came from, but he had blood and on him. Yeah, I just felt so bad. Like, I had to take him to my apartment or whatever. This one I was living with my parents though, but we was staying in an apartment. I took them to my apartment and like just try to clean him up. My mom like, what happened? What that? I'm like, but then y'all fast forward a couple months later, this ended up cheating on me with one of my friends. So y'all know I pulled that card quick. I'm like, boy, if I seen you get your stupid ass stomped out, what you talking about?
Well, I'm not saying that he should have cheated, but this is why men tend not to tell women what's going on in their lives, because they always seem to pull out the card of, hey, look at this, look what happened to you, yada, yada, yada. But yet they want to be protected and provided for.
Okay, I went on a first date yesterday, and besides it being such a great day and me feeling like I could be unapologetically myself, and him making me laugh and just like, it was great. There were specific things that I think men on this platform should learn, especially the ones in my generation. So first of all, before the date even happened, he asked me to dinner and I told him, hey, like, I don't really do first dates. I would love to do something more casual, like a walk at Tempe Lake. And instead of like arguing with me or being like, fine, I won't take you somewhere nice, he was very open to it. He said, that sounds lovely. And I was like, I like that, you know? He actually took into consideration how I felt and he went on with it. He was fine with it. Now, flashing forward to the actual date, he came to pick me up because he doesn't live that far from me. And when I came down to like get into his car, he had parked his car and he was standing outside of his car to greet me. Like, he was standing outside his car, he gave me a hug, he walked around to the other side of the car, opened the car door for me. Like, guys don't do that now, you know? Guys are just like, if they're gonna pick you up, they literally just go in, unlock the door, and wait for you to get in. Like, that was just like, that was such a green flag. Then another thing he did was when we were either walking around the sidewalk with cars or like where there was like joggers or bikes, he always took the side that was like more dangerous And even when I would maneuver my way to the other side, he'd figure out a way to get back to that side, which I thought was so like cute. Because it's such a small detail, but like it matters, you know? Now for this next one, it is very like niche, very personal, I guess. I pretty much just told him I was anemic. And the second I said that, he was like, you know what, we should go sit down and grab a drink of water, just relax for a little bit. And I was like, no, I'm fine. He was like, I get that, but let's just go relax for a little bit. And I really like that. Like he showed that he genuinely was listening and that he cared and he took action on it. So I think that was very important. That was a big green flag for me, especially because I have other medical conditions like ulcerative colitis. So it made me feel like he actually like cares, you know, about my health. So very small detail, but it matters. Then before the date ended, he was already planning a second date. He was already saying like, I need to see you again. And like, one that gave me reassurance that, okay, you're feeling what I'm feeling. Like we're clicking, you know, like we have chemistry. This is going good. Like, you know, like we want to see each other again. So that was nice. Then the last thing he did was that besides the whole date being like opening my car door, opening the doors, pulling out my chair, at the very end of the date, he parked his car and he walked me to the entrance of my apartment building to say goodnight. Like, I don't think I've ever had a guy do that for me before. And then the last thing he did, before I mention it, fun fact about me is I hate hugs. Oh my God, I hate hugs. It gives me anxiety. I hate being touched. Don't touch me. No one needs to be touching me. Unless you're my boyfriend, my husband, my man, like no one needs to be touching me, okay? Well, at the end of the date, I guess he could like tell my body language that I was not gonna give into like a kiss on the first date. He asked me, he was like, can I hug you? And I said yes. And I did not feel uncomfortable. Literally, it wasn't awkward. I'm an awkward hugger. So that really stuck out to me. And if you know me, you know I hate hugs. Like, you know it. But yeah, so that was the biggest green flag out of everything. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying that all men my age, early 20s, don't know how to do the bare minimum. But I have been friends with guys, I have gone dates with guys, and I have dated guys that didn't do anything that I mentioned in this first video ever, okay? So I know majority or a lot of guys my age just don't understand the concept of doing the bare minimum and how far that can get you. So I hope someone stuck around for these past like 5 minutes and just listened and can learn something from it. That's honestly it. Yeah.
I think a lot of guys don't mind doing this type of stuff. I think they just need some sort of direction and feedback. Leaders need direction and feedback. Literally, CEOs of companies need direction and feedback. That's why they hire some of the smartest and brightest people to give them that direction and feedback. If they have an answer, let me hire find one of my top analysts, CFO, COO, or whoever is an executive in the company. I'm the top and I'm looking for some direction. But all of a sudden, modern women think that when they get in a relationship, the man is supposed to know everything. Well, if you just put effort and take initiative, he did. But he didn't do it like you wanted him to do it. So in this situation, let me give you an example. When he said, okay, let's go to dinner, he took the initiative, right? But then you say, well, you know, I'd really like something a little bit more casual. That sounds lovely. Let's do it. You see how a little bit of suggestion and recommendation helps a man when he says, hey, I want to take you on a date. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, what are you thinking? What do you like? The man doesn't know you yet. So giving him a little bit of data and info on you. Well, he should have read the profile is great, but I'm talking to you now. I'm trying to get to know you now. So I think a lot of modern women can learn how to converse and communicate with a man.
A man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee. And then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. You can't tell women to lower their expectations, but this is the reality. When you ask a man if you could have a woman who had 80% of everything you wanted, 75% say, yeah, I'm on board. When you say to a woman, a man has 80% of what you want, 75% say that's not enough. But even look at the media. What does the media tell a woman to do? He's out, but he didn't open your door. He's not nice to his parent. Walk right out on that man. Like, it's literally every piece of media is, you don't need him. You're a strong, independent woman. Pull the ripcord. You're out. The basic kind of communication around this is you are a strong, independent, powerful woman. That is wonderful. And quite frankly, you don't need the imperfect man. They're just not connecting. I read that on Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee. And then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get one coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online and they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault. And these men become much more prone to misogynistic content, much more prone to nationalistic content, blaming other people for the lack of economic opportunity. They start sequestering from society. I worry that we are literally evolving a new species of asexual, asocial male. And if a man by the age of 30 hasn't either lived with someone or married someone, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's gonna have a substance problem.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you know that guy you went out with who you weren't that attracted to and his personality was kind of meh, but he was really nice to you and he asked you out again? You don't have to go on a second date with him. It's okay to want to feel a spark on your first date. I feel like there's this big push from people in relationships or just dating culture in general, you know, to keep giving someone multiple chances, even if you're bored, etc. But at the end of the day, you're the one who's going on these dates. You're the one who's having these experiences. And if you're not having fun or you didn't have fun or you're not feeling excited, then you have no obligation to give someone a second chance. Do what feels right for you.
Just terrible advice. Just terrible.
This is my first date. Like an actual date. It's pretty nice.
This man very obviously put in a ton of effort into that date. And for women that don't agree with that because it wasn't out to dinner at a really fancy place, I would stand to argue that that sort of date actually takes a lot more effort because it takes a lot more of his time. And what I think some women do not understand is how a man that puts in effort like this into a date, when he gets stood up, that really hurts. Way more than you just texting him and saying that you're not interested in him. Because a man appreciates that sort of message because he doesn't want to waste his time. He doesn't want to waste his investment. And he wouldn't want to go on a date with a woman that isn't excited for him just as much as he is her. I will keep saying it until I am blue in the face. A man wants to be with a woman that wants him back.
Okay, but hear me out. What if the girl who swears she never gets any attention from guys, even though you've seen her on countless occasions get attention, albeit not always the most attractive. Men in general are not always the most attractive. But the reason she says that is because she doesn't get attention from the men you get attention from. Jennifer's body. Are we keeping up here? Okay.
I'm definitely tracking. Jealousy in modern women is a real thing.
He's telling me that he loves me, but my mom taught me to never get tricked by a man. So I'm gonna tell you guys how not to. Do not believe anything he's saying. If he's telling you he's gonna take you out, do not believe anything until you see it on pen and paper. Until that car is at your doorstep. So a lot of girls act like they're like exclusive with a guy, even if they're just like talking. That's not your man. That's a member of the roster. You wanna be booed up with someone who, you're not even number 1 on theirs? Not me. I don't compete. And then they're all like, but I want you. Okay, Micro 65. Should be your new gamer tag, that's for sure. Siege it up. I don't even feel bad doing so because I just know that they've at least done it to one girl in their lifetime. Plus, I'll never feel bad for rejecting something I don't even want in the first place. You are not like texting me on every single platform, like trying to have a conversation with me. I promise you, you've been voted off the island. The truth is, you might be good enough for someone, but you're not good enough for me.
So basically, you're out here on your worst behavior, and then you're going to wonder why men don't give you the princess treatment that you're looking for.
Can I just ask, like, as a man, how does it feel to, this sounds so bitter, but I'm trying not to make it that way. How does it feel to fumble a woman who was maybe not as attractive like a few years ago, and so you just like didn't pay her that much attention, and then she ends up getting way more attractive? Like, how does that feel? I imagine that would be horrifying. Like sometimes, okay, yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, I post glow up content, right? So like years ago, I was not looking too cute in my opinion. And sometimes I think about those guys that like I talked to, I dated, whatever, that really were just like, they put me to the side, you know, like I wasn't really a priority. I know every single girl who's watching this knows exactly the feeling that I'm talking about. Like it's kind of a power move for sure. It feels amazing to know like, you guys probably regret that.
Validation, validation, validation. Man in the comments, the RN Powerlifter says 9 times out of 10, we genuinely don't care. We break up for a reason. I don't care if you get super hot post breakup. Doesn't fix the problems the relationship had. Precisely.
My husband slid into my DMs and then exactly 1 year later to the day we got married. He was a single dad living in Southern California with 2 daughters who were 6 and 4. I was a single mom living in Washington State with 2 boys, 6 and 3. I had posted this video about being a single mom building a business and it went very viral very fast, and one of his friends sent it to him and said, "This girl reminds me of you." He then messaged me and we quickly became pen pals, is what we called each other. We would put the kids to bed and then talk for like 6 hours straight until it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We had to go to sleep. We were talking nonstop all day, every day. Basically got to the point where we said, we either have to stop talking or meet because there are starting to be feelings and we have children and what are we doing? 4 weeks later, I know 4 weeks if my daughter ever. Ooh, girl. My sister was the only one who knew. She took his driver's license. And I flew to Atlanta, across the country, after talking to him for 1 month. We then meet in the Atlanta airport like a movie. Like a movie. I made 2 friends on the plane, a gay guy named Justin and an old English professor named Liz. And I told them my whole life story, of course, as one does. And they were texting me, or Justin was texting me after saying like, "Oh girl, he's hot." But he like hung back and just made sure I was safe. Because what are you doing here, Holly? Really a main stressor for me was, do I leave my backpack on to hug him or is that awkward? No, really, it was like, and then we did long distance for a year and we've been married for almost 2.
And yet you have single mothers out here talking about they're not going to date a man with kids. I hope it works out for you guys. Congratulations.
Men, I really want you to consider the costs when you are debating about dating a single mother. There are a lot more costs than you realize. So it's typically more expensive because usually you're the one that has to pay for the babysitter. You're going to have to take her and the kids, assuming she only has one, out to eat occasionally. And you're not going to be able to see her as freely as you would like because her schedule is going to revolve around the children's lives. So those are a lot of costs. It adds more responsibility to you and the things that are going to be demanded and asked of you. So think about it when you're considering dating a single mother.
And this is the next video that comes up.
The bar is so low these days. I literally went to a bar and met this guy. We had great conversation. We were getting along so well. And then at the end of the night, I go to kiss him goodbye and he didn't even slip me tongue. And I've literally been telling everyone, I'm like, guys, I kissed him and he didn't even try to use tongue. Like, that's how I know it's real. That's how I know he wants to know me for me, because he didn't even try to make out with me. He just kissed me and left it at that. The bar is so low. It's like, you can't even see it anymore.
Wait a minute, what? Girl, what?
So according to the women on this app, I am considered a pick-me-sha. I am a pick-me girl. All because I am giving y'all advice on how to actually keep a man and how to get a man. Y'all just mad at me because I don't be out here just using their money. Men do come with other things. Just because you've had bad experience with the man that you've picked doesn't mean that every woman is going to have that same experience. As I've gotten older, I learned more, and I'm also cautious of certain things that I do when it comes down to dating men. Y'all know that a nation, y'all still go after him. I'm just trying to help y'all so y'all can actually get a man. Y'all mad at me because I don't look at men as a bank account because I go out and make my own money. Like, make it make sense. Y'all don't want a nigga using y'all for money. Y'all don't want to just living off of y'all. So why do y'all think that men want that too? Because real talk, y'all mad at the wrong person. Y'all mad because I'm speaking real fake.
Guys, I swear I can never go to the gym because... What? What was that? No, sorry. I can't go out with you. Stop looking at my big butt. I know it's big, stop. No, sorry, I don't like 6 foot tall buff white guys with a schlong, stop. You never go to the gym in peace. No, we can't get married. No, I don't want 10 bands. I can't go to the gym and stop looking at my big butt. Seriously, stop before I call.
Maybe the problem isn't that there are no good men. Maybe it's that your energy doesn't call the good ones in. The truth is, good men and toxic men don't really exist. Men simply show up based on the energy that you carry. The way a man treats you is often a reflection of what you tolerate, what you believe you're worthy of, and how connected you are to your feminine power. If he's disrespectful, inconsistent, or emotionally unavailable, it's not always about him. It's about the parts of you that still confuse chaos with chemistry or think love must be earned through suffering. But the moment you raise your standards, embody softness but still have boundaries, and stop settling for the bare minimum, everything shifts.
Here's a little dating advice from someone who's never actually been on a date. Be picky. Go out, know what you want, and search for it. It's okay to be picky. I think as long as people understand that the pickier they are, the longer it might take them to find their person. As long as you understand that, there's nothing wrong with knowing what you want and going out and searching for it. And I think it's an admirable thing to know what you want, because if I was to try and date, I really, beyond general qualities, I don't know what I want. And to know what you want, like, that's a really powerful thing. So don't waste your time with people that aren't meeting those needs.
You know, when I hear these types of videos or listen to these types of videos, I just have to point out the lack of experience that a lot of these modern women have with men. They talk about men don't know how to do this, they don't know how to court, they don't know how to approach, they don't know how to chase, they don't know how to pursue, on and on down the line. But then you hear things like this and you're like, how is this attitude ever going to work in a relationship? You don't even know what you want. A lot of times these women who are chronically single bring their standards and I'm not settling and these are the things that I need into the relationship. And they really don't know how a relationship is or how a man operates. And so they're constantly trying to force what they want on the man and they're frustrated by it. And then they get on this app and they tell their story from their perspective and they be dead wrong. They leave out crucial parts, crucial points in the argument, crucial words and phrases that have been said by them and by the person that would give more context to their audience. And then the people in the comments, mostly women a lot of times, oh, get away from him. Leave him as fast as you can. Y'all don't even know the context. Number one. Number two, y'all don't even understand that she's actually in the wrong and she don't even know what she's doing. So you keep on parroting and spouting off and saying all these buzzwords and you actually have never really even experienced a man to understand and know, well, maybe I don't need that. I want that, but it's okay if I don't get that. Well, let me have a conversation with him about it to see if maybe you just didn't know. And we're actually on the same page. We're actually going in the same direction, but we're trying to do the same thing in a different way. Can I respect his way of doing things? Is it something that's morally wrong? Is it something that's illegal? These questions need to be asked. But of course, if you just spouting off, oh, well, I need my needs met and I want my needs met and I got to have this, this and that. It's all about me, 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 me. And this is why a lot of modern men, men are walking away from the dating society, the dating circle, the dating space, is because all they hear is, well, if I ain't getting this and if I ain't doing that, I ain't gonna be. There's no space in there for the man.
Am I the asshole for ignoring my husband during our flight when he expressed anxiety over flying?
Ooh.
I, 33 female, recently married my husband, 30 male, and we took a 3-hour flight to Mexico for our honeymoon. I fly a lot for my job, so I have racked up a lot of miles. My husband isn't a big fan of flying, though he has gotten better and tends to just hold my hand and close his eyes during takeoff and landing. Mostly okay when we're in the air. When I booked our flights, I requested to use my points if an upgrade to business class became available, but made it clear I only wanted this upgrade if 2 seats were available, and then I basically forgot about it. Then comes the day of our flight. I was so excited for this trip. I checked us in online, all is going well, and then when we go to board, the person scanning our boarding passes stops us. She says it seems that my husband was upgraded to business class, but only him, and asks if that is okay. I immediately say no, we are on our honeymoon and would like to stay together. But then my husband jumps in and says, quote, "No, it's fine. I'll go in business class." I look at him in complete shock and he tells me that I fly all the time and have been in business class before, but he hasn't. So he deserves a chance to experience it. I see we are holding up the line, so I feel like I just need to agree and get on the plane. To say I'm pissed off is an understatement. He is all smiles, taking his seat, and I go back to the seat where they sit me next to an old woman with a baby on her lap where my husband should be. Within maybe 5 to 10 minutes of sitting there, trying to hold back tears because my husband left me alone on our flight during our honeymoon and uses my points for his upgrade, no less, he starts to text me saying he feels anxiety over flying.
Oh no.
I ignore the text and stop looking at my phone. Within maybe an hour after we are in the air, he comes to the back of the plane to find me, offers me half of his business class breakfast, and asks me if I was ignoring him, and that he was scared and needed me to tell him that it would be okay since I am such an experienced flyer. I told him maybe he should have thought about that before leaving me alone before our honeymoon even really began. He gets angry, tells me that this may be the only time he gets to fly business class, and he was giving me half his breakfast to make up for it. So the least I could be is supportive of his genuine fear. I roll my eyes, sarcastically say thanks, and he goes back to his seat. When we land, I try to just move on and forget about it so that we could enjoy our honeymoon. But he guilt-tripped me about not comforting him via text before takeoff. And now I'm wondering if I'm being unreasonable and should have just let him enjoy his first time in business class and ensured him it would be okay. Am I the asshole?
You know, obviously there's women in the comments talking about how dare he divorce him fast. This marriage is over quickly, fastest divorce ever. But you do have some women saying, hey, listen, I know it's probably inconvenient and I know it probably hurts your feelings, but I know for me and my partner, if he never had that experience with first class and he wanted to fly that, then I don't think I would have too big of a problem with it, right? Obviously, maybe he should have made some different decisions, being that it was their honeymoon. But I think if we look at the other examples, just not saying that he's right, just to keep in mind some of the other examples that we've seen, I personally have seen of women, when the man buys first class and there's only one seat, guess who takes it? She does. And guess what you hear in the comments? Oh yes, queen, take that. We love a generous man. We love a chivalrous man. Oh man, this is rich man, big D energy. They don't offer to swap nothing. They don't want nobody to sit nowhere. Oh, we not together no more. My man sacrificed for me. He gave it up for me. And expecting that man to have a good attitude about it. But now, when the shoe is on the other foot, you want him to give up the seat, come sit down there by you. You take first class, think about you, consider you. Once again, I'm not saying that he was right for doing anything. I'm just pointing out, modern women always want men to sacrifice. They want men to consider them above everything else. But when it's time for you to put your feelings aside, what do we have?
Okay, I have a legitimate question, like a sexual question. I was just working the Harry Styles concert, second night in a row. I've worked a few concerts like this where the females are absolutely hysterical. Like it's mass hysteria. Like they are screaming, and it's like, you know, when you hear those stories about people going to see the Beatles and they couldn't hear a thing because the girls were screaming so loud. There's this guy I'm working with, and I say to him, is there a male equivalent of this that isn't sports related? Like, okay, guys go nuts when something crazy happens in sports. Okay, we all know that. Like, then what is the difference between us? Why do girls go crazy for a male singer? And this has been going on for years. It's like the Beatles, hair metal bands, the Backstreet Boys, One Direction. And men have never done that over like performers. They've done it over like a display of skill in the same sex as them. How come they aren't hysterical over female singers? Why are we like this? Really like to know the psychology behind that, because like, why are we like desperately screaming at a guy that's never gonna fuss, and men are desperately screaming at athletes that like make a cool pass, or like, what is that? Think about this, and by the end of this video, I'm gonna come up with a hypothesis. Hypothesis 1, and this one's kind of dark. We get excited by the things that make us feel the most empowered in our own gender. Men get pumped when they see men acting like men. Women get excited and feel like a woman when they're swooning over a man. And a man feels like a man when he's cheering on another man do something sick. Okay, that's theory 1. Their theory is that girls get more excited by the performative aspect of men because we're all about the journey instead of the destination. We get joy from watching a guy look hot and like fantasize about that, whereas men, I guess, maybe just want to, if they know they can't, they're not screaming in glee over someone. I don't know. Please let me know if you have any theories on this. I for one will be up tonight thinking about it.
Am I the asshole for not telling my former fiance I bought her dream home? 10 years ago, my fiance left me, 38 male, a few weeks before our wedding. We grew up in a small town, we were friendly, went to the same school, but we were never in the same clique. She was one of the popular kids and I wasn't. So a few years after college, I moved back home because my dad got sick. I found a job in my field about 45 minutes away from home. I would help take my dad to his chemo appointments, and it was during one of those appointments that I first ran into my ex. She worked at the hospital. One day, while I was waiting, I asked her out. It turned out we shared a lot of the same interests. It seemed like our relationship was going great. About a year or so into dating, my ex and I moved into a rental house together. The following year, I proposed. We began looking for a house. My ex always wanted to live in her grandparents' house on the lake near our town. Her family was forced to sell the house when her grandparents died because of an inheritance dispute. 6 months before our wedding, a chance event happened. The couple who bought her grandparents' lake house had grown tired of our snowy winters. It took some work and nearly all of my savings, but I was able to buy her dream house. It was going to be my surprise wedding present, so I didn't dare tell her or anyone in her family my plans.
Damn.
A month before our wedding, X and her friends went to Miami for her bachelorette party. I'm not sure all of what happened there. Part of me doesn't really want to know, but I do know her high school boyfriend was there. When she got back from the trip, she broke down and confessed she was afraid to get married and wanted to call it off. It was a mess. She later moved to Florida and eventually married her high school boyfriend.
Oh! I hate that.
I ended up moving back to the city for an amazing job. In the meantime, I still had the lake house. With the help of my mom and dad, we started to fix up the lake house. It took a few years. My mom and dad would look after the contractors while I was in the city. But having the lake house was perfect when everything locked down. I was able to escape the city and work remotely from the lake house. I now live here full-time and work remotely. This summer, we had a 4th of July party at the lake house. My sister-in-law used photos from the lake this summer in her holiday Christmas card. One of those cards made it to my ex's cousin. The cousin recognized the house. The Saturday before New Year's, ex's mother and sister were at my front door. After pleasantries and answering their initial questions, they made an offer to buy it. I refused. They were not happy. A few days later, I got a long text from my ex. This was the first time in about 9 years that she has talked to me. She called me an asshole for keeping this from her. Her family is blaming her for losing the house again. She then asked me to sell. I still had no intention to sell. Now her and her family are complaining on social media that this is some sort of revenge. Am I the asshole?
No, bro. These modern women are making their bed, and you're going to have to let them, force them to lay in it. Not your fault.
Y'all see, this is why you need a real man in the house, man that be in the gym, lift weights. So I'm gonna tell you, so look, come on. Look. See, we got all this ice filled with drinks. I might look, hold on. But see this, when you got real men like this, see, we improvise. See, we smart. We know we the head of the household, so we know. So what we do is, you know, we get out of here. Like this. You see this? Wait, hold on. You gotta get your hand under. Wait, hold on. Wait, no, I got it, but move. Why you need a real man in the house?
Hey, bruh. I know we got that male strength and all that stuff, but I'm gonna tell you like an old man told me. When you get you a woman, you're gonna need that back. I'm telling you, trust me when I say it, young man. You're gonna need that back. God rest his soul. R.I.P. Mr. Davis.